Good morning. Good morning. And today we are sitting in what town is this again?
Grand Haven, Michigan.
I always want to say Holland. It's so
Just
close
north.
to Holland.
Yeah, very close to Holland, but just a little bit north. Yep.
And I am here with the lovely Lindsey Berg,
Berg, B-E-R-G.
with Loke Dogs Training. And she is a freaking wizard when it comes to dogs.
You're too kind. No, thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Dude, I've seen it firsthand. So we just did some film work with her actually for Voyager dog food. And I brought my dog, Jade, my little asshole of a puppy. And she was like, she's so sweet. I was like, you don't have to.
She is.
She's
a
such
dachshund.
an asshole. But she is sweet though. She did well.
Do you have names for her when she's being an asshole?
Just asshole.
Just asshole. Okay. Yeah. Like I have Pipsqueak, but then I have Shitsqueak.
Oh.
Or I feel like you gotta have that little like alter ego for your dog when you're just like, I'm not going to deal with this.
My parents have been like babysitting her because
nice.
I've been like traveling
Busy.
and stuff. And they were like, she's so cute, but she's such a shit. And I'm like, I know. Like, you can't be mad at. I feel like that's just like the small dog mentality. It's easy to be mad at bigger dogs because it's like, but when they're cute and small like that, you can't.
Well, and especially puppies. I feel like older dogs, you're like, you should know better. And like, truly, dogs are just opportunists. But
They are.
Puppies, anytime a puppy does something, I'm like, that's on me.
Right.
Like, I gave you that opportunity to shit on the couch, and guess what you did?
You shit on the couch.
Exactly. So that's on me. I don't know. I think early in my career, I was getting frustrated with dogs and puppies, and I realized very quickly, like, there's no room for this. Like, there's training is not going to go well if I'm feeling frustration. I need to just own it. If I gave the dog that opportunity, mismanagement, I should have prevented that.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as bad dogs, just bad trainers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Exactly.
bad management. Or maybe you have seen a bad dog. You've seen a lot more dogs than I've ever seen.
There are dogs that are too dangerous to be in the community, but are they bad? No, they're just terrified or had some traumatic early developmental thing that just made life really hard for them.
Right.
And so there are some dogs that I'd never label them bad. They might be a little misunderstood or need so much help and management that it's just not worth it for the human. Or the dog is truly having such a hard time that the more humane thing to do might be to let them go.
Down.
Yeah, which is, I know it's the worst part of my job.
I get it though. I get it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We had a lab growing up that like, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was a lab mix that my parents adopted. And this dog was so I don't know if it's aggressive or reactive.
Was it setting boundaries with its mouth?
It was so weird. My parents said that the dog would just be around and then it would just deadpan eyes.
Yeah. Hard stare.
And then
like lock in on something.
And it would be like tail wagging and then all of a sudden just like out of nowhere, just deadpan stare and then bite whatever was closest.
That's aggression because that dog is willing to use its mouth.
Yeah.
Like reaction's going to be big feelings, all that. But like that my childhood dog was a behavioral euthanasia case. We had a Dalmatian and you bite enough kids that
you just can't. Because why are Dalmatians like that? I hear a lot of them are like that.
I think they became very popular very quickly. So inbreeding, the breeding, anytime
bred
a dog
for color and looks more than behavior.
And they were bred to like protect under a fire truck. Like they're not bred to be this like family dog. And then you have a movie like a Disney movie come out where like everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at the Dalmatian can turn on the shower, and they're going to become very popular. I loved our Dalmatian growing up too, but again, like mismanagement. She was put in a lot of situations she wasn't ready for.
Right.
My sister friend like pulled her ear or something, and she bit her. And
I
think there was like one other incident where my parents were just like, we can't deal with this. And I mean, I get it. They had 3 little kids, and I think like as a trainer now, looking back on that, like I kind of agree. Like it makes sense. Once a dog. Could other things have been done? Yes. Like, could this dog have lived like a slightly more restricted lifestyle and like still been happy?
Right.
Yes, we could have made that work. But once a dog starts hurting people or putting holes in people, that is a really powerful learning experience. So that's where it becomes like, once that happens, the likelihood of that happening again is exponentially increased. And the likelihood that it's worse also increases.
Right.
So that's where we really have to look at like what is going to be the quality of life for a dog. So
Right. Yeah. Let's get into that as a topic today.
Okay. Sorry for kicking us off with the most uplifting part of dog training.
No. I think it's very important because I think that, like we were just talking before the podcast, and what a reactive dog versus an aggressive dog.
Yeah.
So let's explain that to people because I had no idea. I figured they kind of went hand in hand.
Yes. And there is a correlation. Like I kind of think of them as they're each their own like circle of the Venn diagram. But to me, a reactive dog is a dog that is having overreactions to something in the environment. So a lot of the time, this is going to look like barking and lunging at the end of a leash. And reactivity to me is really kind of rooted in one of two things. It could be either fear, where the dog is nervous, feeling defensive and stuck on a leash. So they're going to try to scare whatever it is away before it can scare them. Or it's overexcitement based, where the dog maybe is like really a social dog and they see another dog and they want to play so badly that they hit the end of that leash, and then frustration is that start of the display, but frustration quickly escalates to rage, and that's where it might still look like a very aggressive display at the end of the leash, but it's really just a dog that's like, I want to go meet that dog. So both, and then it could be a combination of the two. So to me, reactivity is kind of what I think of as like big feeling dogs.
Big feelings.
They're just
We have big feelings.
Exactly. Like my toddlers. Like my toddlers are reactive. I would call them at this point.
So you tell them no or what is it? And they're like, the end of the world.
Truly. Kicking, screaming, the whole 9 yards. And yes, I need to teach them better regulation skills, just like we do dogs, of how do we deal with frustration? How do we build self-control, help them make other choices? And there's a lot we can do. So that's like reactivity on one side.
Okay.
And then aggression on the other side of it would be a dog's willingness to set a boundary with their mouth. And every dog has a bite threshold. Every dog is, you push that dog far enough, like, yes, they could be, use their mouth to set that boundary to bite. And so in my work, what I'm looking for is for every dog, like, what is that threshold? Because the dog that we're going to label as aggressive is a dog that's proving their willingness to go ahead and set that boundary and having a pretty like low threshold of what someone could do walking by, and that dog's going to go for it. So, but there's so much we can do to help both dogs. And so there is overlap. There are some dogs that are going to be both like reactive and aggressive. But I really, when I'm looking at an individual dog, I want to measure those two things very separately because I mean, the way we're going to help them through it is honestly very similar depending on what the issue is. But to me, the difference is going to be management for those aggressive dogs. If an aggressive dog is injuring people or other dogs, we are going to take so many additional safety protocols to guarantee that dog is never in a situation they're not ready for. Or muzzle training or things like that, where we can just like guarantee safety for everyone involved and help the dog kind of work through those underlying feelings.
So say someone, I don't know, gets a puppy. Or even an adopted dog from the shelter. Bring it home. They're feeding the dog, and all of a sudden they like go to grab the dish, and the dog like gives them the side eye, growls,
stiffens,
reactive, or that's going to be quite aggressive.
So that is resource guarding, and that's a really big cause of aggression. I'd say fear is the number one cause of aggression. Resource guarding is probably the second most common cause for a dog to like you're talking about that behavior chain, like that stiffening up is the first thing we see. Then we might see the side eye, lip lift, snarl, growl. Growl is kind of that last form of nonviolent communication before the dog's ready to set a boundary. If that starts to happen, it's a scary thing. I've dealt with that a lot. I think even 2 of my 3 dogs are a little prone to resource guarding. Like I've worked it a lot, and I've taught my kids what you do and don't do, and I feed my dogs in their crates. I'm just guaranteeing safety. But for a lot of people, then they'll think, that dog needs to respect me. I got to be able to take that bone away. Truly. Or I ask people a lot too, like, is your dog prone to resource guarding at all before I start like throwing treats in the middle of your house? And they're like, no, I take bones from them all the time. I'm like, okay, well, right. But that's essentially how I'd train a dog to resource guard. So this was one thing I was a little surprised by when I started training and getting experience with these dogs, was like the answer to building trust with a dog that's resource guarding is essentially like give them that food. Don't push their buttons and bother them. In fact, get something higher value. This is like where I bring in what I call hot dog therapy, or like freeze-dried beef liver, something better than what's in the bowl. And as I approach your bowl, I'm going to toss something better in there, so that me approaching a dog that feels insecure about the resource they have, if I'm going to approach you, something better is going to happen. So that way the dog starts to kind of loosen up a little bit, and they see me coming, and they like, They're not stiffening up and hunching over the bowl. They're like,
they're not thinking that something's getting taken from them. They're like, oh, something better is going to come.
Exactly. Because once I can get the dog feeling that way of
trading.
Like, yes, of trading and even just me approaching predicts something better. That's where I'm going to be able to work that dog and really build trust versus if I just start taking that food bowl away, no, I'm going to make that problem way worse.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is like your bread and butter.
Yes,
for
sure.
The aggression, dog resource guarding.
Reactivity is our number one thing because that to me is just like so misunderstood. And I feel like for so many, as I owned a reactive dog, my associate trainer owned a reactive dog. Like this is just what brings people in. They're like, okay, this is just embarrassing. My dog is losing their shit at the end of the leash. Like, what do I do about this?
Right.
That's probably our favorite. Just like, okay, you want to see a different dog? Like, let's do this.
Because I'm so like naive to the fact of what a reactive dog is. Yeah. So like I don't even know if you could go this far. Like my dachshund, if she's like sitting on my chest and I go on her face, she'll do like the little lip snarl.
No, that too. I mean, adorable, but also like she's like, that to me is just like she's not having I don't know. She's telling you I don't like that, right? Yeah. She's just kind of like, Mom, stop it, knock it off.
But she will do like a little nip on my chin, not like hard or anything, but she just like does it and then she'll like wag her tail. And I'm like, I don't know if she's mad or
that to me
what is happening.
That's a correction. Like she's giving you a correction. Like that is something that we see puppies and dogs do to each other all the time. Those little, even like a little turn of the head is a correction.
Side eye.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. If like my old female, like we use her a lot, but like a dog spends too much time on her booty, like sniffing, she's going to like whip her head around and give them like stare some daggers at them. And that to me is like a beautiful, appropriate correction. And even like using a mouth, even kind of like, and like grabbing a dog by a lot of people get really freaked out when they see this. They're like, your dog's attacking mine. And it's like, no, my dog's like telling your dog to knock it off, like in a very dog appropriate way. So,
I have a story about this.
Oh, please tell me.
Okay, so the other day, Jade and Sage, my lab, you met Jade.
Yeah,
but
love Jade.
She was going up to my dog Sage, my lab, and Sage just does not mess with any other dog. She's like, get the fuck away from me. Don't look at me. Don't touch me. And so she came up and like tried to jump on her back and she turned around and gave a little like nip and she went away, came back, did it again, nip. And then she came back and like grabbed her scruff on her neck.
Jade grabbed the scruff?
Did.
Okay.
And
Button
Sage
pusher.
turned around and just laid into her. And the scary part was Jade did not give up. It was like it turned in almost a full on dog fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do?
Okay. I love this example. This is the perfect example of when a puppy is going to drive an older dog to violence, that's when we step in.
Okay.
Because I want to give my puppy the opportunity to get corrected by older dogs, but I need to know kind of what is the limit of the older dog so that I can prevent my puppy from getting to that limit. So like, hey, corrections 1 and 2, beautiful. I'm kind of, again, depending on the players involved, I'll usually like 3 strikes, you're out. Okay. All right, Jade. Now it's time for Jade to go on leash with you so that you're advocating for both of them. But I love letting some of those conversations play out a little bit because it's a really good learning opportunity for the puppy as long as we know the limit of the older dog and that the puppy isn't going to like go too far.
She never actually bit her.
Yeah.
She just does this, like gets in her face and goes, rah, 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 like the snapping of the teeth. But I was scared. And Jade was not backing down. She's like, oh, come at me. I will fuck you up. And I was like,
Jade.
Oh my God. And they just did this thing at each other for like a good 10 seconds.
Okay.
And I was like, when do I step in? Because they're not biting each other, but they're just like getting in each other's face and it's loud and it sounds scary. Yeah. Even my mom was like, they're fighting. I was like, they're not, because nobody's biting each other.
Yeah.
So, and I just kind of like grabbed Jade and I was like, no, ma'am, and pulled her off. And then Sage was like instantly done with it.
Exactly. Sage is looking for that. Like Sage is like, somebody help me out here. And I actually like it. They were in a yelling match. Like I call these things disagreements because, okay, yes, Jade is poking the bear. Sage is like, okay, I've told you kindly. It's like someone else's kid that's bothering you.
You're
like,
from me.
Can you please stop? Can you? Gosh darn it, you need to stop. Like that's what puppies are going to do to older dogs. And I think I don't necessarily want to let that play out time and time again because what happens over time is the older dog is just like, screw it. I need to teach this puppy a lesson. No one else is going to teach this puppy like this. I'm going to put a hole in this puppy.
Taught her.
Yeah, right. And so I love like a loud, snappy correction as long as I know how like that the puppy's not going to like, how is the puppy going to receive the correction?
Right.
Because a super sensitive puppy, yeah, that could like really scare them. A puppy like Jade, she's like, hold me back. Like she's like ready for a bar fight. So that's where you step in. Perfect. But I don't know. I like letting dogs have those conversations and like never at a dog park because I feel like, no, thank you. Just, I don't do dog parks.
You don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But because I want to know the dogs involved too. I want to know their limits and I want to make sure I'm like really setting everyone up for success in the conversation.
Right.
But I like giving dogs the opportunity to work through that and set boundaries so that I'm not having to like be the one for their entire lives that's like making them tiptoe around each other. It's like, no, you guys can work this out.
But I feel like a lot of the misconception is like a couple of the people that were there when this went down, they were like, oh, Sage should know better. I'm like,
no.
But she didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
And I was like, she set the boundary twice.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder how many people like bring a new dog in and then the older dog gets in trouble because it's like, oh, well, you should have known that this is a puppy and you need to be tolerant and you need to be more patient and you need to like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's fun that you bring that up because I see that all the time in like hiking trails and things like that where like a dog will give an appropriate correction, and the less experienced or who knows what dog, the dog that probably deserved the correction then is like, oh no, you didn't. And that starts the fight. But because the appropriate corrector was the one that like supposedly aggressed first and then like the other dog didn't know how to deal with it or how to receive that and move away, then that older dog is the one that gets like labeled as, oh, your dog like started this fight. And it's like, no, you look back, I don't know, when you know more about the conversations that dogs are having and their body language and even these subtle little signs of like, no, that dog's telling that one to like piss off.
Right.
You start to realize like oftentimes there's like an instigator that is just like will not leave a dog alone or is being overly pushy and goes to get corrected and then freaks out and can't handle it. That's the dog that needs to have brakes pumped sooner. That's the dog that should be on leash around other dogs, even if the other dogs are fine. Because
and I hate that they're the ones that get in trouble.
I know, right? I know. It's just not fair. I know. I look at all these videos on the internet and it's like, once you're a trainer, you just like can't go on the internet without getting like frustrated and annoyed.
Like, obviously I haven't seen a situation like kids being around dogs and they're like grabbing their ears and pulling on them. And then the dog finally like reacts and turns around and bites the kid. And it's like, oh my gosh, this dog's terrible. It should be more tolerant.
Exactly. Like what I grew up with. Exactly. Where it's like, this is not the dog's fault. And I think it's hard with kids. Like, I wish that more parents would take the attitude of like, your family dog is your number one opportunity to teach your children how to behave around strange dogs.
Right.
Because I have so many people will like, their toddlers like walking up to my pack of 3 dogs that I'm walking downtown and they're like, oh yeah, my kid loves dogs. They just like pull on, like they do all this stuff at home. And I'm like, not with these dogs, they don't. Like my dogs, I mean, they are very tolerant of children. And like my kids have like done some things where like hitting them with stuffies where I'm like, we don't do that. But every time I see my kid cross a line with our dogs, I set the boundary. Like I'm not going to rely on the dog and wait
You're
till
an advocate for the dog.
Yes. And the kid too. Yeah. I'm never going to leave kids and dogs unsupervised together because honestly, I'm more worried about the kids than the dog, like the kids doing something crazy. But I also look at like my kids now, I've taught them every dog is a no-touch doggy until you've been told otherwise. And then when you go in calmly, you walk, you make your body quiet is something I explained to them. And then if the dog sniffs you, you can then ask the owner if you can pet it. And if we're going to pet it, it's going to be very gently on the back or kind of by the collar and the neck. And that is how my kids interact with dogs.
It's so funny that you say that because actually I take my dogs to trade shows with me.
Yes.
So I have them all set up on the place boards and that's good interaction or whatever, but it irks me. But I'd say like 80% of people come up with their kids and they're like, can my kid pet your dog? But then there's like the 20% that come up and like grab the dog's ears or climb all over them. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
And so my response is always like, well, first of all, thank you for asking. I want to like validate that with the kid and then because sometimes I might have a fearful dog where I'm like, this one we're not going to pet, but this one over here, and especially when they're on place boards too, which is so good. But I always think of that as like, you're a sitting duck as the dog. Like the dog's going to feel, I don't want to poison the place board and have the dog be like, I'm stuck here. There's a crazy kid approaching. So if I see, and it's hard because you're at a trade show, you're like talking to people, you
can't always like monitor what's going on.
Yes. So oftentimes like I'll be like, oh, no, hold on. You have to ask first. And then they have to like wait for me to be done doing whatever I'm doing. And then, yes, I'd love to introduce you to the dog, but I'm going, and I'll support that interaction. Right. I often, depending on the dog, most of my dogs, like they could be on place and get pets and they would love that. But if a dog is ever uncomfortable with pets or really needs a lot of support to be successful in that interaction, I'll probably take them off the place board because I don't want them to like get that idea of like, this is just where I'm stuck and have to like receive pets that I don't want.
I feel like my dogs gained so much weight at trade shows because I always put the treat bowl right there and I'm like, just come up and give them a treat. And kids, they're like, I'm going to give them 8 treats.
Yeah. Fine. Well, and again, quality treats. I don't know. Maybe you just feed them a smaller meal that night. I kind of account for that on those days where I'm walking in public and I'm like, here, I'm using nutritionally balanced dog food as treats today. So have at it. Go for it. Yeah.
You have I think that at the last trade show that I went to, and it was just a classic car show, I think my dog got 82 biscuits.
Yes. Okay.
I was like, enough.
Did that cause issues on the back end?
Well, I thought it was funny because Stetson, my male, just gobbles them up and he eats them so fast. And he like went out and it was funny because he got off the place board at one point. I'm like, where's my dog? Yeah. And I was looking around and I went around the trailer and he was throwing up the treats.
No.
And he came back around and just kept eating them. I was like, dude.
Puke and rally. He's back.
I was like, yeah. Because I knew this kid. I was like, just feed him like a couple. And then she kept coming back and I was talking to someone about the dog food and she kept grabbing in the treats and feeding him and feeding him. I was like, oh my God, he just threw up.
Oh, buddy. Poor guy. No.
But I mean, it was all treats in the throw up. Just, I mean, I think it was just because she was feeding him like
so many
at a time.
Yeah. I've taught my kids to break them like in half where I'm like, you can get a lot more behaviors with a single treat if you break it. But now it takes like 20 minutes for them they're like just sitting there breaking them up into tiny pieces. I'm like, good trainer. Good job. Good job. Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. So while we're on the topic of reactive and aggressive dogs, give me other examples that you experience in your dog training. Or, I should even ask, if someone does have a reactive dog, what should they do? Should they conquer it on their own? Should they seek professional help?
Seek professional help the moment you notice the behavior. Do not wait. As I'm saying this as someone who had a reactive dog and thought I could work through it on my own for like the first 5 years of this dog's life. And then I hired who became my mentor like 5 years into not fixing my dog. It was like every New Year's, my resolution was like, this is the year I fix Riley. And like, never, like, no, just didn't happen. And it was like always on my New Year's resolution. And then finally I hire a trainer who became my training mentor and is why I'm here today. And within months I was like, oh my gosh, this is working. Because to me, it's just not intuitive. Like if you apply human psychology to these dogs, you are going to be ass backwards. Like you're going to make it worse.
Right.
So yeah, we can, good boy. It's okay. Don't worry about that dog. Like, no, he's hearing, good fear. Good job. Keep being scared. Like, ooh, mom's scared. Bark, scare him away.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Encouraging that.
Reinforcing
fear.
Exactly. Of like what you would do for a child. Like, okay, say my kid is afraid of, I don't know, the mailman or who knows what. I'm using a dog analogy here. But if I would rationalize with them. I would comfort them. I would be like, hey, let's just go sit on the porch and talk to him. He's a nice guy. Like, hey, look at, he's going to every house. And if I just try to apply that of like comforting, petting, when a dog is in that mindset, whether it's usually defense drive at that point where they're like getting fixated on the thing, and especially if they're staring at the trigger,
right?
That if I start petting and be, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Even if I'm saying like, they don't know what I'm saying. All they know is they're getting soft energy from me. They're not getting leadership. And so that is going to be reinforcement, and that is going to deepen that behavior pattern, that loop that the dog is in. It's going to get worse.
Right. Yeah. And fear can be taught through training.
For sure.
I'll give you an example. This is like a personal example. So when I was a kid, we had a pool.
Yep.
And my mom would always garden and do stuff out in the yard when I was like in my little floaty in the pool.
Yep.
And she'd always just look over and see me in the pool. I guess one time this gardener snake came out of the pool filter.
Oh.
And started swimming like around my neck.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, Mom, look, a snake.
Yeah.
And I was all excited about it. And she's like, oh my God, get out of the water. And like it freaked me out. So now, fast forward to today, I have this fear of snakes.
Yeah.
When back then I was like,
wasn't naturally there.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. But it startled you so much. And that created like a brain pattern.
Yeah. So I feel like even with dogs, like if you're walking your dog in a park or whatever, and another dog comes up and you just like freak out and like grab that dog up, it's like, wait, why?
What could have been a neutral experience then has so much tension because we created that. And that was honestly the biggest. I wasn't necessarily like petting my dog. I had like a 130-pound Rottweiler. And I was like, so I would see a dog and I had a reactive Rottweiler that I had just rescued. And I would tense up on the leash super tight. I would hold my breath. I would like, oh my God, oh shit, here it comes, like, and like freak out. And so my dog, like, even if he hadn't seen the dog, he'd like see me freaking, like bracing for what I felt like was going to be like the worst thing ever. And yeah, I was the cause of that. I made it worse. I was adding tension. Like, even if he felt okay about that dog, like when I tense up, now he's feeling tense. And so that's another way that I think us humans will make that pattern worse if we're just operating on our own instincts.
Exactly.
We're just trying to get through the walk. I get it. And that's where there's so much other stuff that we can do to support our dogs, whether it be with movement, food. Like, again, there's lots of different ways to help a dog through this situation and to teach the dog how to get back to neutral and to recover from that reaction. Because I'm not just going to suppress it and like overcorrect and shut the dog down to the point of where they're just like, okay, I'm going to just like cower here rather than like walk by this dog. What I want to build that dog up. I want to build up their confidence, build up their tools where they can get into what we call like pack drive, where they're going to look back to us of like, ooh,
the leader, the strong leader.
Yes. Like, I don't need to deal with this situation. Like the dog's having a feeling about something. I don't want them to feel like they have to deal with it on their own. They have to set the boundaries. I want them to learn they can trust me. They can look to me and I've got a better solution for them, whether it involves food, a little distance, movement. Lots of ways we can support these dogs. So back to your question of like, what do we do? Hire a trainer, find someone that's like gently balanced I know that's like a loaded term, but balanced training is like, hey, we're using all 4 quadrants of the behavior, like positive reinforcement, negative, all that stuff. But but we're also being kind and fair to the dogs.
Okay. So say I had a reactive dog.
Oh, I would love to help you.
Yeah. Do you do phone consultations?
Yes. And we do virtual training as well. I think having someone hands-on, especially for reactivity, is going to be key. But for every client that we work with, we start with a free 15-minute phone consult where we can get like a lot of just background information about the dog and kind of understand where you're at with your goals and usually figure out pretty quickly, okay, here's where we're going to start with you. Right. And what's going to move the needle the most for that dog.
Right. Mm-hmm. And if anybody does have a reactive dog or an aggressive dog, I'm telling you firsthand, I watched her work with, was it reactive or like scared?
Fear. That dog is very fearful. Yes.
I watched a session with her and towards the end of it, it was like night and day difference. She is a freaking wizard.
Oh, thank you. I have to credit my associate trainer too. She's the wizard behind the curtain. Her name's Kaylee, and she is like, you have a fearful dog, aggressive dog. Like, this is the woman I've seen. Yeah, she crushes it too. So
and I like how you used other dogs to like promote.
Oh yeah,
because this dog was basically like flighty on the lead. Like every single time that you even like took a step, this dog would like jerk to the end of the leash, freaking out, looking around the whole time. And at some point you were like, let's get Jade out. And I was like, what's Jade gonna do?
Jade's gonna show her that we're not monsters. Like, I feel like, and I will be the first to say, like, a well-behaved, balanced dog is gonna be a far better trainer than I am any day of the week. And that's where if we can have like Jade's perfect because she's like she's overly confident. She's like
she's an asshole.
Great. Like, I love overconfidence. That's why I got Pipsqueak. I was like, oh, you are a giant dog in a tiny body. Like, this is gonna be good or awful. But I feel like those confident dogs are really helpful to a fearful dog because that dog is just gonna observe like, okay, well, that didn't kill that dog. Okay, I guess I can take a step forward. And when I also love like the flighty dogs, those dogs where, because if we can prevent that pattern, we can help them there's a lot of room for improvement pretty quickly there. So I got an update from that dog too. They moved to Charleston.
Okay.
And she was running around on a beach doing her thing. I still needs a lot of support, especially in like crowded areas.
Yeah.
But I also ran into the owner like as she was preparing for her move. She was working her downtown. It was just like so good to see her in action. I was like, you're crushing it. So I know they still have a long road ahead, but it's
good, positive.
Yes. And giving, to me, it's all about, I want to empower the owner to be like, okay, I know what to do. I can get through this situation. I have options and I can help my dog and advocate for them in whatever they need in that moment. But,
towards the end of the session, the dog was laying down, like yawning, relaxing. Yep. I was like, whoa.
Still, and like in that instance, the yawning is still her processing stress. Like it wasn't tired. It might have been a little tired yawning, but I think it was more so like that's a displacement signal. If you ever see a dog like yawning, lip licking, doing like a full body shake when they're dry, like those are all signs like, okay, this dog is still stressed, but to me, they're working through it in that moment.
I feel like it's them thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like for horses, when I used to work with horses all the time, whenever you'd stop and like take a second with horses, they'd lick their lips.
Yep.
And then they would.
Releasing tension from the body. I do a lot of massage work with dogs, and oftentimes like I'll have a really good session where we're just like getting tension out of the dog's body, and after like even just a couple seconds of it, they like walk away and they have to like full body shake. And to me, it's like, good, let it out. Like you don't need to hold that. That's not serving you.
I love it.
It's so fun.
I know.
Like that's why I love the aggression cases, the reactivity cases. Like there's so much we can do for these dogs.
And you're so good with it too, because you keep your composure the whole time. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even holding this dog and I was stressed for this dog. And I was like, oh my gosh, this poor dog.
It's hard.
And I was like, how is she just keeping like you were almost like in like this neutral.
Like, have to model what the dog needs. Like I that's just years of experience in working at like animal controls and things like that, where it's like, all right, sink or swim. You gotta figure this out, what's gonna work or not.
Well, it worked. It was amazing. Thank you. And it was awesome seeing you in action with a reactive dog.
It was fun having you along. That was great.
So if people wanted to reach you for a session, where can they find you?
Lokedogs.com, www.locdogs.com. We've got a contact form. There's online booking. Like I said, we do virtual, which can get you started, at least kind of help you. Okay, let's talk about where your dog is at, give you things to start on right away. I mean, virtual training sounds hokey, but like have your leash, have your treats ready. Like I'm going to have you start working your dog in the biggest room of your house, and it is going to make a difference. But otherwise, in person's also.
I love it. And we're actually gonna, if you guys are subscribed to Voyager's email list, we're actually gonna start pushing out emails. I know we normally do them with Ask Dr. Pete vet questions. We're going to do it with Lindsey and asking dog questions, like training questions.
Yes, send me all of your questions. Then it doesn't just have to be aggression. This could be puppy stuff, socialization, you name it. I would love to answer them for you.
She, like I said, is a wizard, and she knows dogs. Like I'm not even joking. I've met so many trainers, and you just get dogs.
Well,
and you give a lot of grace. Everything doesn't have to be like perfect.
No. And I wasn't a natural born dog trainer. I was like the hardest person to train because I was just a natural born dog lover. Like I was not an easy person to train. So I have a lot of patience and love for you owners out there. Hey, you're trying. I'm here for you.
Exactly. So go on to her website, give her a call, submit a contact us form, go on to Voyager.com or VoyagerDogFoodCo.com and submit to our newsletter, and you will get those emails as well. And we are gonna let you go on this one and get into our next episode, which will be puppy training, which I need a lot of information on because I have a puppy and I hate her. I don't hate her. I just hate that she, like, every time I ask her to do something, she's straight up.
Yeah.
Middle finger, bye.
You love her. You just don't like her. We'll get you back to that.
I will love her when she's a good dog. Well, she's an opportunist.
Yes. We'll speed that up for you at least.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for joining us today.